I told my ex it wasn't fair for only his kids to have fun while their siblings stayed home feeling left out. He replied, "They are not my responsibility," and cut off all contact. Now I'm wondering, how do you raise a family when the only one who sees all the kids is equal? Is you? I'm Tara, 32, and let me tell you about my situation with my ex because honestly, I'm still fuming about it. Zachary and I were high school sweethearts, the real deal. We got together junior year when he was on the football team and I was, well, let's just say I was pretty popular. We were that couple everyone thought would make it, you know? We had our first son, Tyler, when I was barely 21. Logan came along about a year later. So there I was, 2 babies before I could even finish college. We had this whole plan mapped out, get married after graduation, buy a cute starter home, the whole fairy tale. But life got complicated. Between the sleepless nights trying to finish my degree part-time and Zachary working extra shifts to keep us afloat, things got tense. And okay, I'll admit it, I messed up. There was this guy from my night class who would listen to me complain about how tired I was all the time. Justin was just supposed to be someone to talk to, but then one thing led to another. Look, I'm not proud of it, but Zachary and I were barely talking at that point. He was always working or too exhausted to pay attention to me. When Zachary found out about Justin, he completely lost it. He packed his stuff and moved out that same night. Just like that, our 5-year relationship was done. Tyler was barely 14 months, and Logan was just learning to walk. We tried mediation instead of dragging everything through court. Zachary and I agreed to split custody 50-50, 1 week with me, 1 week with him. But he made sure to remind me at every handoff that I was the one who destroyed our family. Whatever. He also insisted on paying child support for the first year and a half after we split, even though I told him I could manage. Looking back, I think he just wanted to make me feel like I needed him. Once I got a steady paycheck that matched his, he immediately stopped the payments, saying we should just split costs down the middle. Typical Zachary, always keeping score. The custody exchanges were always tense. He'd show up right on time, not a minute early or late, with this look on his face like I was the worst person on earth. Our conversations were strictly about the boys, and even those were clipped and cold. I tried being friendly for the kids' sake, but he kept this wall up. The boys would come home from his place talking about all the cool stuff they'd done, camping trips, baseball games, movie nights. Meanwhile, I was working overtime just trying to keep food on the table and the lights on. About 2 years after Zachary and I split, I found out I was pregnant, yes, with Justin's baby, the same guy. Before anyone judges me, Justin and I had actually started dating after my breakup with Zachary. It wasn't just some fling. But when I told Justin about the pregnancy, he completely freaked out and said he wasn't ready to be a father. Within a month, he was gone too. So there I was, 2 kids with Zachary, pregnant with Justin's baby, and suddenly on my own again. That's when I realized just how much I depended on Zachary's help with the boys. When my 3rd son, Dylan, was born, I was completely overwhelmed trying to manage 3 kids under 5 by myself. Something had to give. That's when I approached Zachary with what I thought was a reasonable solution. If he truly cared about family like he claimed, wouldn't he want to help me raise Dylan too? After all, he was already such a good father to our boys. All I was asking was that he consider legally adopting Dylan and raising him as his own alongside Tyler and Logan. It made perfect sense to me. Dylan needed a father, and Zachary was already in the picture. I still remember his face when I suggested it. He looked at me like I had completely lost my mind. "You want me to adopt the child you had with the guy you cheated on me with?" Those were his exact words, like he needed to spell it out that way, making me sound terrible. He could have just said no without being so dramatic about it. It's not like I was asking him to get back together with me or anything. This was about the children, not us. After that awkward conversation, things got even more strained between us. Zachary became even more rigid about scheduling and would barely look at me during exchanges. Meanwhile, I was struggling financially with 3 kids and only 1 income. I tried dating again, hoping to find someone who could help share the load. That's when I met Scott. Scott seemed perfect at first, steady job, his own place, good with kids. He was great with Tyler and Logan when they were with me, and he even made an effort with Dylan. We moved in together after only 4 months. Looking back, maybe that was rushing things, but I needed the help, and the boys needed a male figure in their lives. I thought we were building something real. 8 months into our relationship, I got pregnant again. I was excited, finally a complete family unit. But 3 months into my pregnancy, Scott started getting distant. He'd work late, go out with the guys more often, and barely help with the kids. When I confronted him, he admitted he wasn't ready for the responsibility of 4 children. By the time my daughter, Paige, was born, Scott was already living with some woman he met at his workplace. Just like that, I was alone again with now 4 kids from 3 different fathers. The whole situation was beyond stressful. I was working myself to the bone, juggling childcare for 4 kids of different ages and trying to keep my sanity. Meanwhile, Zachary was thriving in his career, taking the boys on fun outings during his weeks with them and had even started dating again. It just wasn't fair. He had the easy part, 2 kids part-time with a stable income. I had 4 kids full-time with much less money to spread around. That's when I met Nathan at a support group for single parents. He seemed different, more mature, more established, and genuinely kind. He had no children of his own but said he'd always wanted a family. We dated for a year before moving in together, and 6 months after that, we got married. Finally, some stability. Nathan was good to Tyler and Logan when they were with us, and he embraced Dylan and Paige as his own. When we found out I was pregnant with Samuel, our first child together, I thought my life was finally on the right track. But things weren't as perfect as they seemed. Nathan worked long hours to support our growing household, and while he was good with the kids, I could tell he was getting overwhelmed by the chaos of our blended family. Tyler and Logan continued their weekly rotation with Zachary, but I noticed they'd come back from his place talking about all the fun things they did, trips to amusement parks, camping weekends, sports games, things I could never afford to do with Dylan, Paige, and baby Samuel. The more I thought about it, the more unfair it seemed. Why should Tyler and Logan get these amazing experiences while my other children missed out? It wasn't their fault they had different fathers. They deserved the same opportunities and experiences. That's when I started to consider a solution that made perfect sense to me. Zachary should include all my children in the activities he planned with Tyler and Logan. The first time I suggested it during a custody exchange, Zachary laughed like I'd told a joke. When he realized I was serious, his expression changed to something between disbelief and irritation. "You can't be serious," he said. "I'm not responsible for your other kids, Tara. That's on you and their fathers." His response was so cold, so uncaring. Didn't he understand that Dylan, Paige, and Samuel were Tyler and Logan's siblings? Didn't he care that,